Yo, this is Joyful Wish, and welcome to Egoist Naruto. Now, for the Naruto story, well, in Naruto's case, everything with Naruto goes up to the same except to the point of the Naruto and Gaara fight, where we'll pick up. In the midst of battle with Gaara, now Gaara turning into Shikaku by using the dead raccoon technique, or the playing possum technique. I don't remember the name exactly. Gaara was now asleep, unleashing Shikaku's power as Gaara, the medium, was passed out. Shikaku's power wasn't kept in check and Shikaku awoke. Naruto and Gamabunta used the transformation jutsu and they attacked Shikaku until the chance arose to attack Gaara, in which case they dropped the transformation jutsu and Naruto soared at Gaara, punching him awake. As Naruto was about to run at Gaara, continuing his assault when Gaara awoke, the sand Naruto was standing on, being the avatar of Shikaku, started to turn to quicksand, and Gaara said, "Sand burial." As Naruto was about to be covered in sand, Gamabunta shot his tongue out, protecting him. And then the sand below Naruto started to crawl up him, trying to crush him. Somehow, the sand stopped. It was a small wave that dispersed the sand, and Gamabunta unraveled his tongue from Naruto because of the taste of sand in his mouth. That shockwave that had sent the sand off Naruto stopped him from sinking. But then, again, Naruto was about to continue, but he was tired. He remembered his battle with Neji and thought that maybe he could tap into the Nine Tails power one more time. Maybe he could use that power to finish the battle. And as he started to call upon it, something else awoke. The Kekkei Genkai of the Uzumaki. Now we're going to switch perspectives. We're going to go all the way back to the time of Hagoromo and Hamura. I'm assuming Hamura is the name of Hagoromo's brother. Hagoromo and Hamura were born the sons of the strongest Otsutsuki, Kaguya Otsutsuki, the goddess of the Otsutsuki clan, who had ruled over the Otsutsuki ever since the Otsutsuki god, her father, died. Kaguya went to Earth. Earth was her favorite place to be alone and relax. She would usually be gone on Earth for millennia, so her absence didn't bother the clan much, especially considering the fact that she hadn't awakened her power, but on Earth, she ate a chakra fruit, awakening her chakra, and the Otsutsuki clan felt it and trembled in fear from the power she radiated. Many years later, Kaguya would come to give birth to Hagoromo and Hamura. She would sense something different about her two sons that would make it so that they would most definitely claim the throne of Otsutsuki. The one difference being they were born with chakra. Considering she had procreated with a human, she thought that it was probably a natural cause, considering humans were born with chakra. So she thought it would be fitting that her children wouldn't have to eat a chakra fruit to gain the same power she did. But there was something different. both of her children had unique aspects to them. Hagoromo having the ability to destroy, and Hamura having the ability of instinct. See, this is where we time skip a few years. Hagoromo and Hamura are both 5 years old. Hagoromo was playing with Hamura when 2 rocks were thrown at them by some humans. Hamura almost unknowingly dodged the rock thrown at him, but Hagoromo was hit, and when he was hit, he felt stronger, but he was also angry. And when he had threw his hand and hit a tree, the tree turned into dust, and Hagoromo was covered with a purple aura, and Hamura's power was reacting to that aura, and Hamura's silver aura appeared. Hamura's aura was a mostly blue color with silver highlights around it. And both powers radiated strong enough that it called their mother. Kaguya appeared through a portal in front of her children, seeing that they were both covered in auras of power. Kaguya felt destructive energy coming off of Hagoromo, and she couldn't describe the feeling that came off of Hamura. When she approached both of her sons, she tried to touch Hamura, in which he moved away from her, and when she tried to touch Hagoromo, she was kind of injured. And then she realized something. Her children were different. They were special. They were more interesting than herself. Kaguya found herself interesting, considering that her special Keka Genkai allowed her to manipulate her bones. But her sons, they were extraordinary. While Hamura had the ability to instinctively dodge any and everything thrown at him, he also held the Byakugan, meaning he had 360 vision. And Kaguya thought that most likely Hamura would grow up to be an untouchable being. Someone with an Otsutsuki with so much power, he'd be considered legendary for his ability to never be touched in any battle or any competition he was involved in. While Hagoromo would be hailed as a destructive king. Hagoromo being able to destroy any and everything and grow stronger with the more damage he took. Kaguya deducted that Hagoromo and Hamura's abilities from what they had told her. Hamura had told her that he had almost unknowingly dodged the rock thrown at him, while Hagoromo told his mother that when he was struck by the rock, he felt a surge of power, and then he hit a tree and it disappeared into dust and energy, which he felt stronger from for some reason. Hagoromo was born with a weak build, so he was dealing damage to himself when he powerfully hit that tree. His destructive aura didn't really destroy it on time. It was the physical contact that dealt damage to him, which made his aura stronger, destroying it. Kaguya coming to the assumption that Hagoromo and his unconsciously aggressive behavior in his sleep was from this power, while Hamura's more calculated and dodging tendencies came from his ability. Her two sons would hone their abilities. Hagoromo constantly putting himself through vigorous training, building up his body, and then going into the woods of ponds to take damage and to go stronger, while Hamura would build his focus, mastering his Byakugan, trying to almost let go of his body completely to unlock the true potential of his dodging capability. Both boys trained vigorously, and their fruits of their labor was definitely not misled. One day after training, Hagoromo and Hamura were approached by two different beings. Hamura approached by toads and Hagoromo approached by slugs. Hagoromo spoke with the slugs, and the slugs told him that he had a naturally weak build, making him more or less weaker than most, making it seem as if he could not handle himself without them. And they offered to teach him the way of healing. And the toads spoke with Hamura, telling him that he lacked the ability to deal damage and harness the natural energy that flows through the air, in which the slugs and the toads would train both of the boys. Hagoromo would first train with the slugs to learn their Sage Mode, the ability to heal oneself with their chakra. And then he would go to the toads, learning their ability of attacking without actually physically touching anything, along with their enhanced strength and senses. Both boys mastering the slug and toad Sage modes, respectively. Both even going as far as to master the techniques and combine them with the combined effort of both of them. Both of the brothers had mastered their new form of Sage Mode and created a permanent bond between the toads and the slugs, in which the toad and slug summonings became one colony. This will be very useful for later moments in the series, but we'll come back to this later. Anyways, the boys would be returning home late, Kaguya being interested on why her sons seemed more confident in themselves. When she asked them, they told her of the toads and the slugs who had taught them Sage Mode, and they had told her that they had mastered it. So when they were at home with her, explaining how they were training to master a new style, they weren't actually lying. So they showed their mother the combined power of the toads and slug Sage Mode. For short, I'm going to be calling this the ST mode, the STS mode, Slug Toad Sage Mode, for if you want to know the full abbreviation. But the Toad Slug Sage Mode was a last resort for the boys, as they told their mother. They said they would use it if they needed it at any time. Both of the brothers would go on to hone their powers in the respective sage modes they learned first. Hamura, mastering the ability to land strikes without actually touching the opponent, came up with the ability of air strikes, punching the air, which would later lead to the foundation of the air palm in the Hyuga clan, and Hagoromo, mastering the healing factor, which would later become a great asset of the Uzumaki and Senju clan. Now we'll go to the chakra tree. Hagoromo and Hamura had seen a line of humans, well, people for them, walking to a giant tree when Hagoromo recognized the girl and chased after her towards the tree. Hamura, trying to stop his brother, reluctantly followed him, being told by their mother to stay away from the tree. When they made it to the tree, after all the humans went in, they followed them, but they took short breaks, and those short breaks would turn to be fatal for those humans, because when they entered the roots underground, below the tree, they sensed the chakra, and Hagoromo sensed the chakra of his love, the girl he loved at the time, and he approached it, and he seen as he's seen most other cocoons with threads around them. He cut them open, and then he seen the girl that he loved laying there dead. In this moment, Hagoromo would unlock his Sharingan. Knowing that this was their mother's doing, Hagoromo, horrified at what his mother had done, he chose to fight her, and his brother, not wanting to lose his family to this tree, reluctantly fought his mother as well, soon coming to realize that he did it for the right reasons. After some months of preparation, helping the humans in the battle against their mother, the two brothers would finally come face to face with their mother once again. Hamura, taking a deep dive into himself, activating his Byakugan and turning on that instinctive feeling while activating his Toad Sage mode, and Hagoromo diving deep within himself and releasing that feeling of destruction, turning his hair black and his eyes yellow, and then his Sharingan activated, making a orange Sharingan appear. And then an aura of blue and purple surrounded the brothers respectively. Then Hamura's aura was covered by some green chakra, and Hagoromo, taking inspiration from his brother, used the slug sage mode, aka the slug sage mode. Though it was a concept for him, it would soon be finished by someone very relevant in the story later. Using this concept that they had used to create the STS Sage mode, the concept of using the slug's healing as a mode. This Sage mode was completed by a descendant of his, but then forgotten, and then remade better. But we'll continue on that later. The battle between the mother and her sons was incredible. Both boys fighting at maximum power. They eventually came to a climax in which both of the brothers put most of their power into a last blow. Hagoromo, losing his destructive feeling, used yin and yang chakra, the darker part symbolizing his destruction, while the light symbolizing his brother's instinct. His brother had gave him some chakra to use for a sealing technique, in which the brothers had successfully sealed their mother, sealing their mother's consciousness in the moon and splitting her chakra and her power into the tree and her body into the tree's sapling and her chakra into 9 different beasts. Years later, Hagoromo would have two children, Indra and Asura. Indra had inherited the Sharingan from his father, along with being blessed by his uncle with the instinctual abilities his uncle had, while Asura was born with nothing, but then he was blessed with his father's destructive capabilities. Both of the boys were trained respectively, Indra by his uncle in mastering the instinctual state, and Asura trained by his father in hopes of mastering the destructive state. Then came a time where Indra and Asura would switch their teachers. Asura going to his uncle to learn about how to hone and dive into his destructive state, while Indra would go to his father to learn about the Sharingan. Both of the brothers would have grown excellently, and when it came time to decide who would take Hagoromo's place, Asura was chosen, but Indra was envious, enraged, in which he committed a hideous act which unlocked his Mangekyo Sharingan, allowing him to use his Susanoo, which was then covered by the aura and the blessing that his uncle had given to him, while Asura had to fight his own brother using nothing but his pure power of destruction and his chakra. Using the power of destruction, Asura made an avatar made out of the destruction with 3 heads and some spears to account for any involved problems that came from his brother Susanoo. In which case, the brothers would separate, and 3 clans would emerge. The Senju clan, the Uzumaki clan, and the Uchiha clan. The Uchiha clan being led by Indra, and the Senju and Uzumaki clan being descended from Asura. The Senju clan was led by Asura, and they soon had given creation to the first reincarnation of Asura, Hashirama Senju, and the Uzumaki clan prospered with the blessing of destruction, honing it and training it. But that is it for part 1 of Egoist Naruto. I'll be leaving a poll in my community tab about whether you want a texting story later or a part 2 to this. In any case, comment, please. And if you like this content, please consider subscribing. It's free. And if you don't want to miss a video and you're already subscribed, go ahead and click that post notifications bell so you're notified when I upload another video. With all of this being said, watch my community tab because I'll probably be leaving polls on there depending on what videos I'll do, along with make sure that you try to be proactive. I don't know why I said that. I'm a procrastinator. I barely upload, so I shouldn't tell you to be proactive. But with all of that being said, this is Joyful Wish, and I'm